Our first step to solving these problems is to make our bases on both sides be the same. So when I look at 4 and 8, I have to think of what numbers to a certain exponent will equal 4 and 8. And so I'm going to use 2 because I can rewrite 4 as 2 squared and I can rewrite 8 as 2 cubed. Since this already has negative x minus 2, I'm going to go ahead and write that right here. Negative x minus 2. And once I have my bases the same, they're both 2's, I can get rid of them. So then I'm just left with the exponents. So 2 negative x minus 2 is going to equal 3. At this point, I'm going to distribute this 2 on the left side to both of my variables. So I'll have negative 2x minus 4 equals 3. And we just simply solve for x. So I add 4 to the other side. That gives me negative 2x equals 7. And lastly, I divide by negative 2. So x equals negative 7 over 2. That's one of the more simple examples. Now let's look at example 2. Again, I want to make 4 and 16 have the same base. And I'm going to use 2 again as well. So 4 I can rewrite as 2 squared. And then I'll put my, in parentheses, my x squared plus 10x minus 17. And 16 can be written as 2 to the 4th. And then I'll rewrite my 4x minus 1. So again, my bases are going to cancel, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 2. So I'll be left with 2x squared plus 20x minus 34 equals 4 times 4 is 16. I'm sorry, there was supposed to be an x there. So 16x minus 4. I'm going to get everything on one side, so let's minus this 16x to the other side, and let's add the 4x to the other side. So plus 4 minus 16x. That will leave us with 2x squared minus 4x minus 30 equals 0. And at this point, I need to factor. I notice that there's a greatest common factor, so I'll pull out a 2, and that's going to leave me with x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. And then I can factor from here. So I want to know what multiplies to 15, negative 15, but adds to negative 2. And that, of course, is minus 5 and plus 3. I can ignore that 2 out there. And I set each parenthesis equal to 0, so x minus 5 equals 0 would give me x equals 5. And when I set x plus 3 equal to 0, I would get x equals negative 3. So those would be my two answers, 5 and negative 3. Then we'll do our last example. So I have an 8 and a 2. Again, I'm going to use 2 as my base, so I can rewrite 8 as 2 cubed times that 4x plus 6. And over here, my x squared plus 9x plus 20, it can just stay because 2 is already the base. So my bases will cancel, and I'll be left with 12x and then 3 times my 6 is going to be plus 18. And that will equal the x squared plus 9x plus 20. So again, I want to get everything on the same side. I'm going to minus the 12x and minus the 18 over here. So minus 12x and minus 18. And that leaves me with x squared minus 3x plus 2. So I'm going to factor that. What multiplies to positive 2 but adds to a negative 3 is going to be x minus 2 and x minus 1. I'll set this equal to 0, and I'll end up with x equals positive 2 and x equals positive 1. So it also would have two answers.